this will lead us into the Grift report.
No.
Simu Liu, the star of Shang-Chi, took a little bit of offense to Tarantino's comments.
Right.
So he had this to say: If the only gatekeepers to movie stardom came from Tarantino and Scorsese, I would never have the opportunity to lead a $400 million plus movie. First criticism on that. Simu Liu, you know that Tarantino frequently hires black actors and has black leads and has had diverse casts in the past. Now, come on. That criticism of Tarantino and Scorsese, I don't necessarily agree with that.
That's fair with Scorsese a little bit, not very, but you could make the argument.
Tarantino made fucking Jackie Brown. Are you kidding me?
I said Scorsese.
No, I know. You're going the same route I am.
But Tarantino, I don't think you can really make any sort of argument like that. I know what he's trying to do.
Yes. So this tweet continues.
Again.
Sure. I am in awe of their filmmaking genius. They are transcendent auteurs, but they don't get to point their nose at me or anyone.
Well, that's where you go. Calling them auteurs. They just eat that shit up, Simu.
He had another tweet attached to it, said, no movie studio is or ever will be perfect, but I'm proud to work with one that has made sustained efforts to improve diversity on screen by creating heroes that empower and inspire people of all communities everywhere. I love the, quotes, golden age, too, but it was white as hell. Okay. He's not wrong saying that movies traditionally have been very white. Mm-hmm. But I don't understand.
Where's this coming from?
Well, yeah, because I don't think anybody could take. Sure, if you're Chris Evans or if you're someone that stars in these movies, maybe you might take offense. But if you truly listen to what he said, he was simply saying the character is bigger than the actor. That's all he was saying.
Yeah,
and I just don't agree with this take.
And I got to be honest, while I don't doubt that there is a segment of the U.S. population that would go and see a movie if the top name on the bill was Simu Liu, I don't doubt it, right? I don't know that I'm a big enough fan that I would. I wouldn't. I think he should have some leading parts. You know what I mean? I think he should get the opportunity to lead movies. But that doesn't mean that I'm. I wouldn't call him a movie star.
No, I wouldn't either.
I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just trying to say,
what I'm saying. You can't say this when your one role was Shang-Chi, which means you were a part of the biggest, strongest movie franchise in history.
Really good at it. But I haven't seen him in anything else.
And no, it's a good movie.
But I haven't looked. I know he's been in a lot of other shit.
Hey, it's a fine movie. I like that movie.
I really do too.
And I was really blown away by it when I saw it. And
it was really good.
But dude, you've got to think about what is being said here. Tarantino is not saying anything rude or mean and I understand where you're coming from in the sense of like, I don't even know how
if you're coming from a sense of like, well, you're talking about people like Paul Newman and Robert Redford who are white guys. That's a fair criticism. But if you're talking about people like Samuel L. Jackson or Denzel Washington, your argument is invalid now. Because your whole thing was they're white, movie stars. Well, I'm talking about, movie stars who are the.
I just
there
don't
have
agree
been
with
non-white
this.
movie stars, is what I'm trying to say. But you're not one of them yet.
Yeah.
And notice I said yet.
Yeah.
Also, anything that I say probably shouldn't make a difference to you, Simu, because I'm just.
I'm just saying that this.
I agree with you, but I don't.
I want to use.
Yeah, I don't know that it was necessary.
I want to use this as an example of how we are different than the grifters.
Fuck you.
In a sense of, I have criticism. I have valid criticism of Simu Liu here. I think this is a wrong take. I see where he's coming from in terms of diversity and representation.
It's not
and
offensive, his take.
No, but I just think
offended.
I just think that what Tarantino said was so not diplomatic and non-offensive, And I think to take some sort of offense to that,
I think Simu read an article instead of listening to the actual
saw
interview.
a headline,
right?
didn't read it, didn't listen to the interview.
And we all fucking do it.
Yeah.
We all fucking do it.
Let's get into the Grift report.
Right. Fucking Grift report, you pieces of shit. We're going to take you apart, girl.
So, on the topic of Tarantino's
I had
comments.
some more, but all right.
So, this is, again, the difference between you. This is a chair. This is the
Sure.
This is the difference between us and them. We agree.
This is the difference between us and them.
This is the difference between us and them, because we don't talk shit. Well, actually, we do.
They use gun.
No.
We use a pen.
Here's an example of agreeing with
Did you like
Tarantino.
that? We started a rap group.
Here's an example of agreeing with Tarantino for all the wrong reasons. So, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers read the article that featured the full quote of what Tarantino said, and acknowledges that he's not attacking Chris Evans, but then Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers will. And I'll give you a little backstory on why he doesn't like Chris Evans so much after the clip.
Now, while Tarantino's not putting Chris Evans down, I am, because I think Chris Evans is an objectively terrible human being. I think he's trash, and I do like the fact that that he is not a movie star has continued to be exposed over and over again. And I go back to the Lightyear thing again. That
Still
movie
talking about
lost
Lightyear.
So much money, and Disney, I guess, felt like he was going to elevate it, when in reality he was never going to elevate it because he's not a movie star. So rightfully it lost money, especially after his virtue signaling that impacted it. But that's the arrogance of someone like Chris Evans. He's been elevated based on a character, so he thinks he's famous. He thinks he actually has influence. He thinks he actually has a voice. But in reality, he doesn't, and no one really cares about him.
That's weird. Jeremy, I think it's interesting and kind of groundbreaking how you just wrote a segment about yourself and read it in the third person. Let's listen to that again, but he's talking about himself. This is going to be way better.
Tarantino's not putting Chris Evans down.
Jeremy down.
I'm putting
Jeremy down. I think Chris Evans is an objectively terrible human being. I think he's trash.
Oh, this is projection.
And I do like the fact that I like the fact that he is not a movie star.
Yeah, you're
has
definitely
continued
not
to be exposed over and over again.
You are, Jeremy.
And go back to the Lightyear thing again. That
they still can't stop talking about Lightyear because Tarantino said Chris Evans, Captain America, in an interview. They used that as a jumping off point to just shit on Chris Evans.
I would have a lot more.
Jeremy, not completely off base.
Who's the other guy?
Ryan Kinnell. Just listen. He's not off base saying that Chris Evans isn't as big of a star without Captain America.
Yeah, but why does it make you so mad?
But you're blaming it on the fact that he said that people that had problems with a gay couple are dinosaurs.
The one time Jeremy had sex with a woman,
no, he just called homophobes what they were. She
cried out, "Chris Evans," and now he hates him forever.
No, he hates him because Chris Evans basically said to him he feels insulted by Chris Evans saying, "Hey, stop being a fucking bigot."
That's why it's much more funny if you listen to it. We don't have to listen to it.
But that's why I'm laughing at it, because it's like, while you could have the right take on this, you still have to take it into this petty lane of attacking Chris Evans. There was one video he was talking about Lightyear. He flipped off the camera and goes, "Big fuck you to Chris Evans." And I'm like, for what? He said that people that think that gay people are bad will eventually die out, is what he hopes.
Yeah.
So people will stop hating people existing, letting alone the fact that we just had a shooting where people were killed because they were gay.
Hey, real quick question, because, I mean, this is a conservative talking point. The cops saved the day, right, at that shooting?
I think so. I don't know.
No, they didn't actually. They actually ended up tackling the guy who did save the day because they're fucking morons and they were standing outside while the shooting was happening. So... bet you Jeremy has a Back the Blue sticker. Anyway.
But Chris Evans is the one who has the repulsive politics.
Dude, I would have much more respect for Jeremy and Ryan Kinnell if they just got on the air every day and were like, "We're white supremacists, deal with it." And that's it. That's all they did. Because you know what? You can make your news or whatever, but it's all rooted in fucking hate and fucking fascism. And fuck you guys.
Hey, Tyler.
Yeah, we're not even halfway through.
Yeah. Now here's Ryan. So
save some.
we talked about the Simu Liu
Save
tweet.
a little for next time, dude.
We talked about the Simu Liu tweets. Of course, Ryan Cannell has his take on it. Now, I want to talk about Ryan Cannell's relationship with Simu Liu because Simu Liu trolled him and Nerdrotic and Geeks and Gamers when that movie broke records and made all this money. So much so that this guy had video after video after video, much like what they're doing with Wakanda Forever.
What?
Of trying to justify how Shang-Chi's numbers are bullshit and they aren't going to make, it's not really making money and it won't make money, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, so he clearly has history with hating Simu Liu. So he read Simu Liu's tweets, and here's Ryan Cannell's take.
Is such a racially divisive piece of shit. That's what he only cares about skin color. He only cares about heritage. That's what it's all about.
Rejection!
For Simu Liu. He tried to pretend like this is the only Asian movie that had ever been made. Right? Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Cock Rings that literally nobody cares about now. Like nobody knows who you are, Simu Liu. People call you Shang-Chi because that's how they identify you. That's the most relevant thing you've ever done or ever will do. What Quentin Tarantino said is 1000% right. And of course, the golden age was too white. It was so white. It was white as hell. Because once again, white is not right for so many people at Marvel and at Disney right now. And yeah, how's that diversity going for you? Phase 4, complete fucking disaster, just like your movie was, Simu Liu. But look at this stuff.
He's such an angry little man. He's such an angry little man.
I would love to play a video game with him and see how quickly he fucking just throws the controller down and walks away. Doesn't he seem like that type of guy who wouldn't even, like, as soon as he stopped, like, beating you?
Tyler. Great example. Ryan's just talking about himself.
Yeah.
Is such a racially divisive piece of shit.
Yeah.
That's what he only cares about skin color. He only cares about heritage. That's what it's all about for Simu Liu. He tried to pretend like the only Asian movie that had ever been made.
You said
right?
that.
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Cock Rings that literally nobody cares about now.
Great joke,
like
by the
nobody
way.
knows who you are, Simu
Nobody
Liu.
knows who
People
you
call
are, Ryan
Shang-Chi
Cannell.
because that's how they identify you. That's the most relevant thing you've ever done or ever will do.
We can't really say that while we're talking about him, though.
No, Ryan Cannell's the racist Batman guy. That's what I call him.
You know what Ryan doesn't get nearly enough credit for is that fucking hilarious take on Shang-Chi, and it's Shang, you fuck, and you know that.
10 cock rings, bro.
Dude, did you fucking write that, Ryan? Nobody's giving him credit for making the best porn parody name.
No one has ever thought of that one.
Dude, I never even considered that those could go around your cock.
The Legend of the Ten Rings? Yeah, but I feel like you'd have to get a boner the whole time to use it. You know? You can't wave a flaccid...
I had a set of cock rings.
You can't wave a flaccid dick around.
I had a set of cock rings.
Yeah.
You put you put the big one around your balls, like at the base, and then you put the other.
Oh, see, I never know. I thought it was always on the base. I didn't know you.
It depends on which ones you get. Mine was like this leather piece, and then it had like 4 rings hanging down from it, and so like the big one goes around your balls, and then the other 3 go around, and the third one, the final one's supposed to go right underneath the helmet.
Moving on.
But no, you don't.
That might be the shortest Grift report we've ever done.
You do not need a hard-on to wear them.
No, I picked those 2 clips.
It's recommended, though.
I picked those 2 clips specifically because I think, again, it's a great example of learning the wrong thing from that clip. Because while you and I viewed it as, that is understandable. It has kind of cannibalized Hollywood. Yeah, there's a lot of this content, and I understand how people could not identify Anthony Mackie. When you look at Anthony, every time I see a new movie, I'm like, oh, Falcon's in that movie. It's a joke because it's like that's all I've seen him do is like I know Anthony Mackie's been in other stuff, and Anthony Mackie. The reason I keep bringing him up is because there's an example of him saying that you don't go to a movie to see Anthony Mackie, you're going to see Falcon. So he was saying what Tarantino's been saying, and Tarantino in that interview says, "I'm not the first person to say this."
I'll bet you Chris Evans would say the same thing.
Yeah.
But
they decided to take that narrative in a direction of this is how I'm going to lash out at Chris Evans for Lightyear again.
I don't know
and then I'm going to lash out at Simu Liu because I hate him.
I don't know how you just get so mad at Chris Evans. Like, I don't know if you know about this, but like he fucking hates that he got named the sexiest man alive. He just got named People's. Mm-hmm. He fucking hates it, dude. He's like, God damn it. Because that's the kind of guy he is. You know what I mean? Like, how many guys do you know who'd be like, yeah, woo? Ryan Cannell and Jeremy would be two of them, right?
Yeah.
They'd be carrying a pocky.
A pocky. A pocky.
They'd be carrying a copy rolled up in their back pocket whenever they went, and wherever they went, every girl they saw, hey, you have to have sex with me. You know, don't you think they would try to do that? They would try
sure.
to like use like the copy of them being the sexiest man alive. You're never gonna be, by the way. But they would try and use that to be like, well, this is government mandated. This is federally. The sexiest man alive is a real government position. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Tom Cruise is a sexiest.
So you
man.
want to talk to me? Who's the better person? Well, let's see.
Oh, I forgot.
The one guy who's so humble.
I forgot to mention, in that clip that Jeremy had, he said Tom Cruise is a movie star, which is fair. Tom Cruise is a movie star. But he's like, I don't think Chris Hemsworth is a movie star. Chris Pratt's a movie star. And that's because Chris Pratt was in the Terminal List that's on Amazon, and these chuds have been like celebrating the Terminal List because it was written by a veteran that's like this like right-wing nut job. And, you know.
Well, Chris is not and is no stranger to upholding a little bit.
I have a complicated relationship with Chris Pratt.
Me too.
Because I like his acting,
dude.
I think I love him as I love him as Star-Lord, and I want to, yeah.
As Andy Dwyer, he is
hilarious.
My favorite like fictional character. Almost, he's just awesome, right? Just awesome. The wedding they have, you know, when he's dressed as Mr. Tears. I can't remember.
Yeah. But I know what you're trying to say. I know what you're talking about.
But then you start reading all and here's the thing. I will say, having seen all of the sides of the argument, I do think he was unfairly linked to like some homophobic stuff because of some other things, and he explained it and in very good detail. He made it clear like what was going on and everything, and I would never be associated with a church like that, and it was proven that he's never had any association with that particular church, and so on and so forth. So, but I
yeah. Well,
Chris, it's not that people are looking to take you down. It's that people are looking to take the church down. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry that you feel like that's an attack on you. But I'm sorry.
It's complicated. Let's move on.
Oh boy.
Let's move on to something that we both agree on.
Welcome next week. Tune in to my new podcast. The God Pod.
The God Pod. That's already a
I'm
thing.
sure that's already a fucking thing. There's about 1 million fucking podcasts being broadcast in this neighborhood alone.
This one right here.
I'm pretty sure that out of the like 8 houses that are like on our side of the street, that at least 3 are having podcasts recorded in the basement right now.
Wow,
at least 3.
That's incredible.
Everybody has a podcast, Jake.
Oh, you're right. Everybody does.
I'm surprised my mom doesn't. Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.